Again, thank you everybody for joining tonight. Thank you for those that submitted images tonight for our exhibition night. What we have,
21
oh, 31. Okay, good.
or
Good.
31. 31.
So a little bit light, but these are always a fun time to just discuss what comes up, ask questions, and present. Talk a little bit about when your images come up. Be sure and talk a little bit about what you were thinking when you took it, any special things that you might have done from a processing standpoint, and then others that are in attendance can go ahead and offer suggestions, feedback, and we'll go with that. But again, I've always found that I benefit quite a bit from these meetings. Um, as far as other upcoming events and that, we've got September 18th, we have a presentation night, and that's Color Theory with Trish Sandralo. And so that would be 2 weeks from tonight, Wednesday night. October 2nd is our next competition night. And that one is, so the one on October 2nd is a themed competition. So the themes that we always have two of those. One is light painting and the other is macro. So on the light painting, if we can learn from Russell's presentation last month, for those that missed that, it was a real entertaining presentation, and we have that saved, recorded. So reach out to Bruce or myself or somebody, get the codes. If you don't already have it, go out and watch that one. But it was real entertaining, and some of the work that he does is amazing. It'll be interesting to see. Hopefully, we get some contributions over on the light painting side into our competition night. And then we have October 16th presentation to be determined. Bruce, I'll talk to, if you don't already have somebody lined up for that one, I'll talk to the person I talked to you about before on long exposure black and white, Kevin Holiday. I'll check with him.
Yeah, Zoom will go through. Right now, we probably won't be back in until November, and that's obviously if they get all their construction done
Okay.
on time.
Zoom anyways, and his presentation works well over Zoom. So
Mhm.
uh, December 4th is the potluck and awards. What do you have for November? I did not have that one written down yet.
So what we did is the six of us that went to Africa, we're
Okay.
going to do a little sharing of our trip and like 20 images each, and then we'll each take a few minutes and talk about what we liked about the trip or whatever knowledge we want to impart upon the club. And we talked about that because a lot of people said, "Hey, you're going on these trips," and then we were talking about it too because we have so many images that you could
Hmm.
see our Africa pictures for the next 5 years and we wouldn't get through
Sure.
all of the
Okay.
ones that we took. So this way it kind of, people that are interested in the safari or whatever, talk to people who went, what we did, what we didn't do, what we would
Okay.
do differently. So
Perfect. No, it sounds great. Okay. So, and that brings us to the end of the year. So great.
right. Yep. Yep.
All right.
And I think, and as we discussed that, that might be this thing where we have a club members do their thing about a trips they took. We might
Hmm.
move that to that last meeting in December and just make it a Zoom only meeting because we do have a lot of people in the club that go on really cool trips. Like, when you went
Right.
to Iceland and, you know, just
Yeah.
have people say, hey, who wants to talk about it? Do 20 images, you get 15 minutes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Be
Yeah.
kind of fun, I think. And if it's
Okay.
Zoom, then we can go a little long. We don't have to worry about it. So anyway,
Okay. Yeah, no, that would be great.
okay. Carino,
Uh,
it's all up to you.
and one more thing before we start here, if you get a chance to look at the last YouTube video that's on there, Bruce did an awesome job of putting the QR codes to sites that you can look on there while you're viewing through YouTube. So yeah, very good job. Okay, got it. Okay, like Michael said, when the image comes up, tell us who you are and a little bit about your image, and if you have any questions about it. So we'll start with the first one here.
So this is one that I was going through some images earlier this week, and interestingly, this is one that was from the Iceland trip that Bruce had mentioned earlier, in that I had never really I had never processed this one. I had some others from that evening, but I came across this one that I had never processed. So I went ahead and did it the other night, and So a little bit of the story behind it. So this was in June of 2019. So it now goes back a little ways. I need to get back there someday. But Godafoss is one of the waterfalls that's kind of up in the, I'll say, north central section of the island. So it's not that close to, say, like Reykjavik, where a lot of people go there for a few days or whatever. And that this one does require you to go a little bit further, go a little bit further out there. But this was at about 11:30 at night, and in June at that north part of the island, it really doesn't get totally dark. This is kind of almost it got a little bit darker than this, but not much. But it was me and one other person there. That's all. The parking lot, there were two people at the time that I was taking this photo. So he had his camera on a tripod, and I was a few feet away from him, and the whole rest of the place was all we had it all to ourselves. And interestingly, I found that a lot of times when I was in Iceland in that period is that almost all the time while I was out, it was like between the hours of 9 or 10 o'clock at night and like three. That was the story on this. Is this is most of the times that I was out taking my photos and that it was me and two or three other people or whatever and that were out. So that's part of the story on it. I had somebody else who saw this thought that maybe the horizon line was a little bit slanted, and that's why I
Yep.
kind of brought this one up. I look to, I don't know if you can see my cursor or not, but I typically am like kind of looking at the water lines, right? As far as what is going to be driving that, not necessarily the lines of the terrain that's behind it, because that could naturally be sloping. But to me, water is water, and it's going to tell me the truth or whatever in that. But um, to me, it looks like I thought it was fairly straight, but a couple of people said it just needed to be tweaked a little bit, bring the right side up and the left side down a little bit to straighten that out. That was the only thing. But anyways, that's the end of my what I was going to say about it.
Well, that's the first thing I noticed. I thought that the horizon line was,
So it may be a little bit off. Like I say, if I look back in the upper left corner, the water when I kind of was
well, even if it's
I
not off, it looks like it's off because of the land to me.
because of the land off to the right, looks like it slopes a
Yeah,
little
the
bit from
land
the
looks
left to
like
the
it's,
right.
yeah. So even if
Um,
even if it's right, it might feel wrong. This is all I'm saying.
I think that's what's, I think to me, that's it. I am fairly, this is a ways back, but I'm fairly certain that if it was on my tripod, I had my, horizon line set to make sure that I was getting it as
Yeah.
far as the true horizon would be. But visually, I think it looks like it does slide a little bit. But if I look at where the various water points are, I think it's not far off, but it may be a little bit off anyways.
Nice.
Yeah, the water looks level, but I like the greenish blue and the yellow background. Very nice.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Yeah, I was lucky that night that there were clouds because the other when I mentioned that there was one other photographer that was there, he said that he had been there like 2 nights in a row before that, and there were no clouds, so there really wasn't much going on in the sky. So I got lucky in that the night I was there were some clouds out.
I could almost hear it.
Yeah, it was loud. The other funny part of the story too is when I mentioned that there were like two of us there at that night. So then I went and I did this trip. Most of it was camping. In fact, almost all of it was. So I stayed at the campground that was not too far away. The next morning I got up and that was like one morning I finally had to get some sleep or whatever and that. So I did. And then as I drove by here, because I had to come by the same path, I drove by it at about noon and thought I just want to see what this place looks like at noon versus 11:30 at night. And there were like, probably 8 or 9 tour buses that were parked and the parking lot was full and the light was horrible. And there were, you had to kind of move around to try and get a clean photo. There's no way that you could get something like this at noon out there yet. That's when everybody was there.
You were at the right time.
Mhm.
So it sounds like you want to go in the summer so you can just do it in the middle of the night because you get
Yep.
sunlight.
And I said this like whenever I did that one presentation that, but most of my if I'd say that on that trip, 80 some percent of my shutter clicks were between 10 p.m. and 3 a.m.
Wow.
And then I was tent camping. Now try and sleep, when it's super bright, even at 4 in the morning when you get to a campground, it's as bright as it is at noon. It was tough to getting sleep was hard, but
It
was
would be
fun.
tough.
So this is a new person, a new member. I don't know. I didn't see her in the chat or in the participants.
Yeah, I didn't see her in there.
So
Very nice.
I
Though.
guess we can make some comments, and then if she watches the recording, she'll can hear that part of it. I'm like you, Karina. I like it, like the sky. I like the color and the water. Um, and I think we all know where this place is. Or
Right.
we may have driven by it anyway.
Right. We know the general area on that, but
Was
yeah,
it
no, I
Chatfield? Is that where that is?
Yeah, I think so.
A really nice image. The logo's pretty distracting.
Yeah,
Mhm.
all of hers were watermarked. Shannon Dismang.
and so she's new. I don't. So she has not been physically to a in-person meeting yet. Then yeah,
I'd
no,
asked. Elaine checked on it, and she was a member.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
very,
she caught a nice morning, and the unlike mine, maybe the horizon line looks like it's nice and straight, and then the colors, the reflection, the composition looks nice. I think that one looks good.
I have a question for landscape photographers. When I see this, the the horizon line is kind of in the middle. Is that good, bad, or what?
So I'll answer, and then I'll let Darren give the right answer probably. But my understanding is that at least the way I am told, and this one's not dead center, which is probably a plus, but you can kind of get away with it if it's on reflections, a reflection with it down the middle, and that works. But anytime that whether it's land or whatever the horizon line is, typically you want to make sure that you are maybe a third on one side and two-thirds on the other, one direction or the other, but not have it split the middle. But on reflections, again, different judges or different people are going to say otherwise or whatever and so forth. But a lot of times on reflections, it's not necessarily against the rule if there is such a rule.
Okay,
I like it the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
it looks nice. All right, let's go to the next one.
Ooh,
Awesome.
That one's mine. This is Carolyn, and I don't know. I just put it in there to get some feedbacks if the shadows are too dark or
No, I think it looks. I mean, in that with the shadows, that's just the way the light is hitting it. But you can see detail in the darker parts of it, and with the it just looks funny in a good way, right? That it catches your attention with the wings fully extended, legs fully extended. It's got a branch in its beak that it's carrying across. So again, I think I'm pretty sure I know where that's at, but I think that part of it looks good.
Yeah, I like it.
everything doesn't have to be sharp, for sure. It doesn't have to all be sharp. It looks to me like the very front of the yellow part, which I think is the stamen, is not sharp.
and then let that other part of it fall off like you've done here. It makes a real nice backdrop.
Yeah, to me, it looks like the black or brown piece to the left of the statement is a little more in focus than the statement itself.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
But the background being out of focus in an image like this is perfectly fine. It would be expected.
Yeah, beautiful background.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is from the lady that's not here tonight.
Oh.
But nice capture with a mouse in his mouth.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one actually is like really good as far as like sharpness and the detail and the expression and the mouse in there in the snow. Maybe just in Photoshop, take the stick that's coming off of the center of its back up at the top. That'd be a pretty easy takeaway in Photoshop. But the other plants in there aren't very distracting in that. I think it looks really good.
And it's nice the way it is, but maybe just a little too tight of a crop for me.
Yeah.
And the other thing I would do also too is I would lighten up the eyes just a little bit. Make them pop. Nice
Very-
photo though.
But yeah,
Yeah.
overall, nice. It's really nice and sharp. That's
That's great.
I mean, and the depth of field with the background falling off nicely is good.
Okay, this one's mine again. And I don't know what everyone thinks of it. Bruce says it's out of focus, but I don't think it is. So just some feedback on it would be helpful.
Yeah, the front bird, he does look a little bit out of focus. If you look at the rear bird, his eye is really in focus. But you might be able to clean him up in like Topaz.
Okay,
Yeah, and to that point, it looks like the sharpest part might be that main bird's tail, kind of like even like where the blue part of it is. If you look like right in there, it's like super. I mean, which is such a I don't know what lens you used and how far away you were and so forth. The fact that there would be that much of a difference from that to its head, which is only what like a half an inch of real separation in there.
Could be motion.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I was thinking with the wings part of it being a little bit out of focus, that could be the motion. And you're right that the head might be moving just a little bit where maybe it's a shutter speed then.
yeah, I think it was shot at least 3,200, if not more.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But I think it was at 600 millimeters, wasn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, I've had an image kind of like this and was able to clean up a lot in the Topaz sharpener.
Okay, I'll give that a shot.
Because you
Yeah,
can do selective focus with it. So the pieces that are already in focus, you can kind of paint those out and just paint the areas that need to be cleaned up.
Okay, that's a good idea.
Beautiful colors.
Yeah.
They were beautiful birds. Oh, this one's mine also. And I just wondered what everybody thought about an extra set of ears.
It's awesome. Three sets of ears. That's pretty cool.
They're cute. I mean, I think if you could come up with a clever title to kind of, say something about the extra ears or something, I think it would work at that point.
Well, I was thinking about calling it Too Many Ears, but
It
What's
look- it-
interesting
it
is
looks good.
the stripes match from the zebra in the front, and it goes right into the same lines the zebra in the background.
Yeah, they do.
And,
Kind of
I mean, that is really hard to, I mean, you could not have made that happen. So it's kind of a trick in terms of saying, is it one or is it really two? Which means you have to really, the viewer has to really study it and pay attention, which is good.
The only thing I would do is probably put a graduated filter, invert it, and then just make it shadowed around the heads, where the heads just stick out,
Oh, okay. That's a good idea.
like a vignette around the heads.
Yep, I could do that. That's a good idea.
Awesome picture.
Thanks.
This is Jane's. Jane, are you on?
I am.
All right.
This was just in Africa, obviously. I just was wanting your comments on it. I tried to dull the background a little bit. And I did dull the white grass in the front. Even though it looks a little bright, it's called snowgrass there, because apparently it goes away in the winter time or something. Anyway, just interested in your comments on it.
I love the lighting, awesome lighting.
Yeah, it goes right into the main part of the face, and the eye there is real strong. And then the rest of it falls off, so your eyes really go to your subject well here.
And nice
Thank you.
detail.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of liked how the branches were arching over it, and the trees framed it in the background, and that's kind of why I chose it and decided to process it.
Yeah. Yeah, the natural framing is real good in that.
Yeah, nice and clear, very nice photo.
I like it. Probably like that bear you saw in Canada, right?
Yeah. And this morning.
Yeah. You and bears.
Well, thank you.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Not sure who this is.
Shannon, that's
Shannon,
the same.
okay.
Yeah, she's not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice colors.
Nice colors. I might
Yeah,
crop the. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I was going to say that the colors on the edges are somewhat distracting. They kind of compete with that center. In my opinion, I think I'd almost crop them out and just have it just be that one plant in the center.
Yeah, really dull them down.
Yeah. Or black them.
Or maybe darken them in that. But what I think is nice is that there's a separation, right? Where the center one, the main one that we're looking at, isn't overlapping with either of those two on the side. So that's good. But you're right, that maybe just darken a little bit on the sides and on the bright colors over there, so that then that center one really does stand out more.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now this is a shot. A
Yeah.
little fish swimming in the mouth of that bird, amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
That one's mine.
Nice.
Did you AI those, Jane?
No, I did not. I
But
went
just-
over to Cherry Creek one early morning, and this pelican was in this little pond, And I just took so many pictures, it wasn't funny, of it dipping, and then, you know, he was facing away from the light, and I just was lucky. That's all I can say, was just lucky. And originally it has, the picture is much larger, and it had a large reflection, and it was a perfect reflection of the water drops and of the pelican, but you really couldn't see, or it didn't isolate on the fish it was catching. So I cropped it way down just so we could focus on that, because that's the subject of it, I thought.
Yeah, you did the right thing.
Yeah, that's perfect. It's like a National Geographic picture.
Yeah, that's terrific.
Yeah, and
Except-
the detail, the sharpness of the water drops, every single drop all the way through there, really nice.
I don't think I'd entered in competition though, because it's
Oh, I
probably
wouldn't
not quite, yeah, it's not that
Yeah.
good.
Take it out. Okay. Okay.
I'll take it off your hands.
It'll somehow disappear, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one thing you might do, and maybe you did it, but his eye, maybe try to lighten his eye or lighten up that shadow side of his face around his eye a little bit.
I've done that quite a bit already.
Okay,
But I could try it some more. Yeah, I don't want it to look over processed. Okay. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But other than that, it's crazy.
That's amazing.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
Rejected.
If you get it just 2 feet to the right.
Yes. There you go.
Well, thank you for such an awesome image. Awesome.
Kathy's.
Hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. This wasn't as much contrast as I really wanted. It was actually in the sandstorm. So it was just hard shooting and getting anything really sharp. So this is the best I came up with.
So Kathy, you were shooting this when we were in that sandstorm.
Yeah.
So did you try some noise reduction or anything, or is that just the sand?
Yeah, it looked like it was a lot of noise, and so we did the dehazing, and then I did the denoising, and this is about the best I could come up with. I think the sky's too light. I'd like to have more contrast between the far hills and then the sky.
Yeah, and I think you could crop almost all of the sky out because there's really nothing in it,
Yeah.
and just almost just right at the top of the dunes.
Okay.
And
Yeah, I was
see.
going to suggest cropping it down quite a bit.
Yeah.
And
There's just too much space up there.
Yeah.
Other than to give the idea of the vastness, but I think we could do that by just emphasizing the hills and the contours in the sand.
Yeah, and you might want to lighten up the camel riders and the guide just to draw more attention to them because they're kind of dark.
And might want to clone out that little dark spot on the sand and the left side too.
In
Right.
the background. Yeah.
The what? The dark?
It's right here. It's if you look towards the background, there's a bush or something back there towards the back on the left side.
Oh, okay, got it. Yeah, and I don't think I even noticed that when I was processing it. Okay, thanks. Yeah.
And that's yours too.
This is one of the better ones. It was pre-sandstorm, so I could keep things in focus, and the colors were vibrant, and but again, you can see in the background the just the haze and the sand blowing. But this was one of the better ones that I took.
Nice
Under the
colors.
conditions.
Yeah. That was before my camel collapsed.
Yeah. I don't think you can recognize who's in there, but some people we know.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Oh, there's the handlebars you were talking about.
Yeah. Like riding a motorcycle.
That's great.
But you might want to, you could probably crop it a little tighter on the right and see up on the top, there's a little bit of bushes or something. Just crop
Uh-huh.
them out or clone them out.
Okay.
And then,
Because I wanted to leave some space between the camel on the right and then the edge. But I can, I can crop up there. I see up there in the corner.
I mean,
Or cut it, or
I would clone out the stuff in the upper corner. I don't know that I would crop it. I mean,
Yeah,
I like the crop the way it is, but that's just me.
yeah, no, I
I
agree.
think you're right.
I agree with Elaine. I wouldn't crop it either. I'd just clone out that thing at the top right.
Okay.
and then maybe the ropes that are on the two front camels, try to clone those out a little bit, and then because they lead you out of the picture kind of. Or
Well, I purposely left the blue one
the blue one's okay.
as a starting point to kind of anchor the rope or anchor the animals. But I can see cropping the one to the left.
Yeah, just
But I
clone
like
it
the
out.
blue one.
And the blue one's had some cost.
The thing
It
that'll
ma-
be a little bit hard about cropping the one on the left is that you may have to go all the way up and then you're going to run into issues.
And this is the last one. Actually, on my screen, the guide, I actually had him almost in a silhouette because I wanted to focus on the camel and I wanted to put him in the shadow. And this is turning out much lighter than I had intended. But it was kind of tricky. If I had him too much in the shadows and not the camel, then I felt like it might look inconsistent. Or I was even thinking of cropping like from his ear, where he's present, but he's in the shadows, so I could really focus on the camel. I'm not happy with, I mean, the overall composition's okay, but I'm really not happy with him showing up so much.
So crop tighter to his head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then put him in the shadows more, make him more of a silhouette.
And this was during the sandstorm too, wasn't it? Because
Yes, yeah.
it looks,
Yeah.
wow, look at
Yeah.
that sand. I still found some in my photo vest the other day.
Oh,
Oh,
I did.
yeah, it was tough shooting. I mean, it was,
It was brutal.
yeah.
yeah. Even like the great sand dunes out here, you get out there on a windy day and it can be a challenge.
That's all. Thank you.
Mhm.
Okay, this one's mine. And like she said, it was a crappy sandstorm, so I just thought I would try something different. So what do you guys think?
Looks nice. It really stands out with that yellow.
Yeah, the yellow, it does pop out there. It does look good. I like that.
Yeah, I just wish you could see the first camel's face more.
Yeah.
I wish so too, but
What would everybody think if she cut that nose off, if she cloned it out? Because you
No.
can't see the camel's head. Would that be distracting?
Yeah, then you just have a big body there with no head. I don't
Yeah.
know.
yeah. And how about that white on his back? Should that be darker?
Yeah.
That little design?
It looks fine because he's a subject.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think you need
Yeah.
to do anything with that.
And Carolyn, I'm impressed at how in focus the camels are. The ones that are you can see are facing you. Those are really in focus because that was really hard to do.
Yeah, and I don't know how I did it because I was focusing on that scarf because I wanted to get it blowing in the wind.
Mm-hmm.
We had
Plus
enough
we were-
depth of field, yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, we were on the camels taking the pictures.
Oh, okay.
We were in motion too. Or you never
This one
know.
we might have been standing on the ground, but
Yeah, I think we were standing on the ground for
Mm.
this one.
this is Rose's, but I don't think she's here.
And I think she's fairly new too, because she sent me a message the other day asking about the link to the Zoom thing, so I sent it to her, so she acknowledged receiving it, but evidently wasn't able to make it.
I would say with this one, it's the background is given it is taken away from it. It's a lot of pretty busy background.
You
Yeah.
can probably crop it in quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, if
Yeah,
there's a way
and then-
that I don't know what the position was and what other potential backgrounds would be, but if there's a different angle of coming one way or the other where you don't have the chairs and the house, whatever it is that's back behind there that are sort of pulling my eyes away from it. But if there's a different angle with a cleaner background and therefore maybe also a shallower depth of field, a wider aperture, that might help, but probably still trying to find something that's not sort of cluttery in that background.
Mhm.
Yeah, basically it's just the background needs to be
Yeah.
changed. But good focus. Everything's in focus.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
that-
focus is good.
right, right.
Lots of good
It's interest-
detail.
Yeah, it's interesting the brown and then the two grasshoppers contrast.
Yep.
The
Right.
top one looks like an alien.
This one's mine. I selected this picture. I took quite a few pictures of this hummingbird in the backyard on this butterfly bush. I chose this one simply because of the tail was so interesting
Mhm.
and all the great detail that was in the bird. The only thing I was concerned about was that there wasn't I almost feel that there should be separation of that wing from the flower, and I don't know if there should be more separation of him just getting into the flower, so sucking the nectar out. Anyway, it's all the background and all is in camera, so
So yeah, no,
It-
I mean, great. You had a lot of nice separation between the hummingbird and whatever things were in the background. The fact that we can't make those out, but you have the texture colors that are back there, but completely lose the detail is great. I mean, that
Yeah.
hummingbird really pops out here. And on your point, would it be ideal to have like a little bit of separation from that left wing and the plant? Probably, but I don't the sharpness that you have in the eye, the like you said, the colors, the detail throughout the back, the beautiful tail, all this kind of stuff. I mean, there's enough here that's really nice and kind of offsets maybe that not having that separation on that wing over there. But you can't photographing some of these things myself. They don't always go at the exact angle that you want them to.
boy, isn't that the truth. and
But
also
but the detail on the hummingbird is amazing.
thank you. Also that, with that butterfly bush, how the flowers are growing and they die off at the lower section. I didn't know if I should try to replace those, or is it okay where some of them have died off, or
I think so because
is it a distraction, in other words?
I don't
no,
think,
because the subject's the hummingbird. Yeah.
Right.
And in fact, also you kind of have that where at least that kind of comes out of the corner, which actually is nice too, the diagonal that thing creates. And when you mentioned that, it wasn't until you said something that I even looked down there. And even now that I look down there after you said it, I don't see anything down there that I would say doesn't belong or that is at all distracting.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You might crop it a little tighter on the right too, because really that space to the right, he's not looking at it or moving towards it. I don't think
True.
it adds to your image. It would kind of just empty space.
That's exactly what I was gonna say, just crop it in a little bit where you don't need that stuff on the right. Just bring in the bottom, just bring it into the bird, but amazing detail.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you.
So this is Shannon's.
Yeah, this one too, look at the detail on this bird. Wow.
Yeah.
It's a nice angle and a nice, and a little bit shutter speed on where you get that wing, but sometimes a little bit of motion in that wing on these things, I think looks good. And then the focus is right on the eye, right on the main part of the bird. It's good.
It
and
is.
the plant coming from an angle at a diagonal is really nice too.
What if you flipped it so that the plant was coming from the left instead of the right?
And the only thing on this one, I would probably crop this one too. I don't need all that stuff on the left.
Well, that one, especially because that one leaf is kind of in focus, so it's a little distracting.
Mhm.
You could probably,
That one leaf in the back, I would take it out, and then that green that's just below the hummingbird, I
Darken.
would darken that just a little,
yeah,
Yeah,
because your eye just goes right to that brightness.
it's pretty bright. Yes.
But awesome image.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
very
good,
nice.
good point though. Yeah, yeah, very good.
This one's mine, just taken up. It's not at Mount Evans, so at Mount Blue Sky. I have to remember that.
Mount Evans.
Yes,
Yeah.
Mount Evans. That's what I like. I don't know. It's somewhat at an angle, but only because it was at an angle. I don't know if I should straighten it, and also if the the yellow flowers are too bright, if I should dull those down in the background.
And you
Your
forgot to
comments.
brush him. You forgot
I
to
know
brush
it.
the sheep.
I know he wouldn't stand still.
I'm still waiting for my
Yeah.
gloves.
Yeah. Yeah, you could try like changing the angle so he doesn't look like he's going downhill and just see if it looks weird. I'm
Uh-huh.
kind of looking and I don't know that it would. I mean, the only thing I can see is there's behind his head there's that rock edge, which is kind of straight. You'd have to if you rotate it a little bit, you just have to see if like that angle now all of a sudden looked off. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
good point. Yeah, I hadn't
I
thought
mean,
of
other
that.
than
Yeah.
you'd have to just try it and see. I think the yellow flowers, I don't find them distracting. I mean, I look at them, but then I come right back to the sheep.
Oh, I was gonna say the same thing. It's like up there at to me, when I'm up there, I'm always excited if I do find them amongst the yellow flowers and that. I think it just adds to the scene having some of that spotches of color in there and so forth. And that I don't think they're at all distracting to it.
Me either.
I wouldn't
Nope.
enter this one either. I would keep this out of the competitions.
Well, it's not I don't know if it's competition worthy or not, but anyway,
Very nice. Though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
it's nice.
thank you.
Okay, so I just threw a couple. We went up to the Queen City Salvage, and I was going through my images, and I had a few that I thought were fairly interesting. Not interesting enough, so I did a little. Since we're not competing on this, I did a little alien inversion, and did so the little head from the AI guy was a composite I stuck in on an image that I took at Queen City Salvage there.
Yeah, I was going to say, where'd you spot this one? But it's a composite. So did you take a picture of the little car up at Queen City or whatever? Or?
Yeah, the car with the headless guy in there, and then I put the alien head in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay.
Oh,
That's pretty cool.
it is
Look at-
great.
Look at the head on that one.
That is just great.
Yeah, that looks good.
There's on the top right, there's a little dark spot that maybe clone it out because you have like the fender on the left is like all one, and then you have
Oh,
that just
yeah.
maybe to even it out because it's not bright, but it distracts you because it breaks the pattern, if you will.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
But other than that, it's pretty interesting. I never saw that. Was that inside or was that outside?
No, that was right right outside as you go in the door to the little building that we went in.
Yeah,
was-
yeah.
Sitting right out in front of that.
No, I didn't see it.
I've
Huh.
seen this guy on Lincoln.
I like it.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Pretty
That's
cool.
great. Yeah. Good job.
It was fun. And this is another one from Queen City Salvage. You know, I thought the bins or whatever they are, though, were kind of interesting, but I did a composite with an AI image of a face. And this is-
Okay.
Yeah, you have to look for it, but it's pretty cool. I can see now we're going to have to screen Bruce's images pretty heavily for the AI.
Yes.
The AI aspect, huh?
He's never left home. He submits all these images. Oh, really? That's really cool. That is cool.
I like it.
Yeah,
That's amazing how AI blended that nose and the mouth and all that just right into that locker. It's like that's
Shadow and
crazy.
everything.
Well,
Yeah,
of course,
yeah.
I did some masking and the blending mode too in Photoshop to make it look like it kind of.
Sounds like I have a presenter for next year.
Yeah.
I think that would be Dave Purcell. He's the master at that. But yeah, I like to play with the AI stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I
fun.
like the
Amazing.
angle that you have because the stuff goes at that angle with the lines on the lockers going from left to right at a slight angle. It's really well balanced.
Hey, Bruce, is it your AI? Is that the Photoshop AI, or are you using outside program?
Actually, I have an application that I run it directly on my Mac computer. It's called Comfy UI that you can create these workflows. So I can generate these on my own machine without Photoshop, without anything.
How
Okay.
was it comfy or?
COMFY UI. If you look up that on YouTube, you'll find plenty of, and you can find it on the internet. And it works on Windows and Mac. It takes more work on a Mac probably, but I'm a tech guy, so
This is one of mine, so something a little bit different than that. Had somebody come over for headshots the other day, so this is one that I did, and then I did a little bit of replacing stuff on the background, kind of blended a different one, but just a kind of she wanted like she works for US Bank and wanted like updated corporate headshots, so we did that just here in our house basement studio. So I had a couple lights. I had a couple lights that were lighting towards the background, a main light, which is the Godox, whatever it is, 30-inch octabox or whatever. Up above is a main light. Oh, and I did have also like a hair light that was coming off of from the back camera left.
you can't really tell that there's a hair light. I maybe would have.
It's a little bit. It was pretty faint. And actually, I was using it on some, and I turned it off on some. So maybe I turned it off on that one.
Yeah, I don't see a hair light.
Okay.
Her face is such a close tone to the jacket she's wearing. Maybe lightening the face a little bit. Because if you look at them, the tones are pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does look a little too magenta or pink or something to me, but maybe that's the way her face was. Who knows?
Right. I mean, it had some of that, but maybe the tone is a little bit.
And then they put makeup on too.
Right.
Yeah.
I would enhance the shadows a little bit on the nose there, on the one side, to our left, and under the nose a little bit,
Okay.
just to give a little more definition, because it's almost flat. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
There's no shadow.
You just need to maybe in Photoshop just enhance that just a little bit, and it would give it more depth to the picture.
Yep.
Because you don't want it dramatic, like you said. If it's a corporate shot, I know how they like to have their corporate shots, but just maybe bring that out just a little bit.
Yeah, that's the delicate part of it. It's not so much like a portrait where you try and get a little bit more of that whatever called Rembrandt lighting and all those kind of things. You want it
Definitely.
a little bit more, a little flatter, but maybe not quite as flat as that is, right?
But I like
Yeah,
how the shadow frames her face against her hair, separates her hair from her face.
Right.
Nice.
Right.
And one thing
very nice picture.
Yeah. And as you look at, she needs like a necklace, just nothing fancy, but just a slight gold chain necklace or something to break up. Like when you're talking to people about that, I know it's a corporate headshot, but a
Yeah.
little piece of jewelry would have set that.
And she had that on some other ones, but she changed and she had like a blue top, a blue blouse on later, and had a little bit different thing that was there with the neck, and had a little necklace that went there on some other one. Mm-hmm.
It would just, to me, it's like that shirt, because it's that the opening in the cloth is not even, and then that line that goes across her neck's a little bit askew. I don't know. For me, it bothers me because it's like, oh, you want to straighten that out a little bit. But that's just me, I guess.
And we did that on some other ones. This was like the first or second shot or whatever, and that I just didn't go through and pull out maybe the right one, but we kind of focused on some of that on subsequent.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
you're
Michael,
right.
the first time I looked at this picture, my eye immediately went to her bright white teeth. And I know everybody likes really bright white teeth, but I don't know if you can tone them down just slightly,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know? Do you know, I mean, because that's the
And
first time
I
I
didn't
saw
do
it,
a
it
whole
went,
bunch of, I didn't do a whole bunch of like super whitening on it, but I probably could take that down some, sure.
yeah, because that's where my eye went to right away.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
beautiful smile. And I wouldn't want to take anything away from the smile.
Right.
just for fun, you could probably go back in with the generative AI and maybe add a necklace just to see.
Yeah, that's probably true. Right, right.
That's not
Make
quite
sure
the
it's
type
an
of neckline that you would use with a necklace. Sorry, guys.
Oh, okay. Well, just me to break up that
What do we know?
spot. So there's a necklace.
Yeah,
There it is. So there's another one of mine. So this was I can't take responsibility for the lighting and that. This was at something that I was at on Saturday morning, which I guess is why I wasn't at the balloon festival thing and that. But I was up in Westminster and there was somebody had like all the Nanlite lights up and Johnny Edward is his name. And so he's like got this big studio and had a whole bunch of different, or I should say like 4 different stations, 4 different models that were in there. And this was just one of the ones that I took of her on that.
Nice lighting.
Nice.
beautiful,
Light.
beautiful.
I like it.
Yeah, he has like some real, I mean, soft light, and it's the Nan lights, which is the continuous lighting in that, as opposed to strobes. But and he had that on the right, and then a little bit you can see a little bit of the warm light that's coming off, which actually is a hair light that's over on that left side. That was, he turned the temperature up on that one or whatever, and just had it kind of directed over at that side of her, the back side of her hair.
To me, her right hand looks a little awkward.
Yeah, that's probably true.
I don't know what you do with it, but
And then the seams in the backdrop, they're pretty straight lines. Those two on the left and right of her. I just kind of clone those out.
Yeah, that's what I wasn't sure of, because I mean, you do create a corner back there, especially the one on the right, just the way that he kind of had the box setups. But yeah, it could. You're probably right that do they belong, or if you clone them out, then does it like fall off without with. I'll have to think about that.
Yeah, it's different. I somewhat like it, but she definitely knows how to pose.
Yeah, they had a few of these models there that kind of knew how to do that sort of thing, right?
Who's that dog?
So we had friends over again, why I couldn't go, I guess, on Monday to the balloon festivals. We had some guests coming over. And so I just set this up down in our same thing, basement. Couple lights, one just two, actually a light that was lighting the backdrop, but I replaced that background anyways. And then we got our dog there, the German Shepherd on the right, and she had this little. One of the guests had this little dachshund that's over there on the left, and actually I took other ones of that dog separately, just kind of up in that position, and that changed the lighting around a little bit. And actually I liked the way some of the other ones came out a little bit without our big dogs standing there, but was playing around with this one. It's the contrast in size is what I was going after there.
How many shots did it take to get this one? Because you got
It
some real
took a-
skill.
It took a few. My wife Lori, her arm was holding Steiger over there, making sure that he was like looking the direction. The owner of the other dog was over. I did have to Photoshop them out, the people, and then emphasize the subject. I guess that's what I did actually, is I select subject, each of the 2 dogs, and the little bed thing that I had created for the one on the left, and then
Because
replace the background altogether.
You did a good job on that background.
That's great. That's a great shot.
yeah,
Is that going into-
I like the one you posted on Instagram with just the little dog.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what I say. I like that one, and I spent a little bit more time on that one. Couple of things. I also later on did like a painterly effect on that one too, where I did use like the mixer brush on some of its fur and that. The other thing that I did with that one too is I spent a little bit more time like darkening that little blanket thing that it was standing on. I I would agree though. The other one that I did on that I posted there is a little bit better than this one, but this was the first one I did when our dog was up there too.
Yeah, this is really,
Tiger's got quite a portfolio.
Yeah.
it's really cool to have both dogs together, but if you just crop down to the little dog and like you said, darken that thing, that's just amazing. I mean, the lighting on that dog with that background is just perfect.
Isn't
Oh,
it?
thanks.
It's precious.
Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, like I said, that the other one and that little dog gave kind of that same expression with the tongue out and the eyes and so forth and that on the other ones I did. So I spent more time processing the other one. What it was I had already put these ones. I was running against the deadline of submitting for this, and so I got this one done first. And then after I submitted, I did that other one, and it's like, oh, I wish I would have held off on submitting till I had that one done.
It's pretty cool
Now,
to
we
get them
won't ha-
smiling at the same time.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
both have
yeah.
the same expression. That's
Right.
really good.
Yep,
Like it.
So it was fun. It was good.
very nice.
Sometimes I do these kind of things just for fun and to see if I remember how to use soft boxes and lights and that thing.
Yeah, you always learn stuff by doing it.
Right.
Oh, for sure. Did you, on the background, is this a background that you had, or is this one that you created like Cliff Lawson had suggested how to do?
It is
Using,
one that I created. I took a few different textured scenes that I took together and then blended them together, used blending modes
uh-huh.
to get that. And then, one of them had a little bit more light kind of towards the center. So when you blend that one with like soft light against another one. So I did do a little bit of work to create that the background that I created for it.
Nice job.
Yeah,
Nice job.
color's perfect.
Beautiful dogs. This one's mine, Corino. This is up at Mount Blue Sky.
Mount Evans.
No, it's not Mount Evans. And I just was experimenting with I just use a graduated filter and just kind of put lighting on the tree and then the background I didn't do much with, just the tree.
It's
Wanted to see
really
how it-
nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
And
it was a nice, yeah, that we got that the clouds out that morning were nice.
5 feet to the left of that tree was 14 photographers taking pictures the other way.
There was a bunch of people behind that tree.
I do see a little halo around the trunk towards the bottom.
I
Kinda
thought I
going-
saw that too. I
I
was,
saw that earlier too. I didn't understand how that got there.
and sometimes just on contrasty scenes, like when you lighten the shadows and take down the highlights, it just creates that there's ways to out of that with Clone Stamp Tool. It takes a little while of going up on, using the lighten or darken mode on Clone Stamp Tool, and Darren has demonstrated it before, but it can be done, but it just takes a little takes a little patience and a little.
Practice.
I really like how the sky is breaking just around the arch of the tree. I mean, it just matches, it does beautiful. And I'm glad you didn't crunch up the clouds. Some people sometimes put too much crunching them up, but yeah, clouds are soft and they should be that way. And you left these beautifully like that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's another one of mine. Same place.
I like the clouds in the valleys behind there too. It's almost like two pictures in one.
Yeah, those clouds in the valleys, that was kind of amazing
It's pretty cool.
what's going on that
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah, it was.
Beautiful place.
Mount Evans.
Exactly.
Blue sky.
I like the sunburst.
Hmm.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
And you control highlights on the sun really well.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. It came out.
That's hard to do. Mine are blown out a little bit. Like yours looks really nice. By the way, everybody that's online, don't be shy. Feel free to unmute yourself and chat.
This is also one of mine. This is down in Tucson. Just walking through the neighborhoods and taking pictures of different buildings. Kind of reminded me of a Sunset magazine.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I love
Did-
the
was
color
it-
contrast.
Was there anything in that frame above the house number, or was that empty like that?
It was empty. It was, I guess, owners put their business names in there.
The only thing I can see on the far left, right by that one planter, there's a leaf or something that fell off of that plant.
Of course, yeah, I see that.
Just it's minor, but I really like the colors and the. Did you do anything to the colors or anything in it? It's just
Nope, that's how those homes are down there.
Wow.
All these homes are over 200 years old.
You know what you might do to reduce it down to being old, like you say, is
Mhm.
take out that mailbox.
That's what
'Cause
I was
that's
thinking.
in the
pretty,
door.
take that
Oh, okay.
mailbox out of there and the extra lock that's up on the top.
I see. Mhm.
And just have the handle there, and then it makes it really clean.
Yep, I see it. Mhm. This is also in Tucson. Just some of the old buildings that are down there.
I really like that sunset. That is, or was it sunrise?
Sunset.
Yeah,
That
that's a
is
great,
nice.
that's a great catch right there of that.
Wow, no
Yeah.
kidding.
But now you need to go back and watch Dave Purcell's lighting up a streetlight video. But no, that's awesome. I wouldn't look at these in competition either. I don't think they're quite there. So
They'll just disappear.
Bruce is trying to be photographer of the year.
no, that's Carolyn. We're going to create that new intermediate photography group. So this one's mine at Mount, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this we were as you could see from where Carino was standing, we were, 10, 15 feet to his front of him and to the left a little bit. And we were all laying on the ground about 6 inches from each other, our tripod legs crossing. I like this one. It was worth getting up early for. Michael showed us the secret spot where these trees are. And now we know. But we were grumbling at 3 o'clock in the morning when we got up. This made it worthwhile.
Definitely.
Yeah, go ahead.
But should I light the tree some more? I mean, is it too dark, too contrasty? I mean, I'm looking for some input, whatever you.
Well, it'd be nice if you didn't have that one little branch coming down into the mountain.
Okay, I see that.
The separation, right. I know when we were setting those up, we were trying to get, and there's only so much space, right, to do that when you're down there and
Yes.
that, and you have to get way down low. And we all were pretty low, but yeah, trying to get that separation. But here you
could
might be
maybe
able to just,
use the remove tool to get rid of that.
I think you could do that. And because you've got nice separation on the branch that's right above it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and
Let's
the
skip-
sun star is beautiful.
Yeah, you
Beautiful.
did.
sunset.
Yeah, this is
Uh-huh.
great.
Yeah.
Great job on that one, Bruce, with the,
Now, would you guys suggest on the far left with that small bush and that road, taking those out?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think you're right.
yeah.
Yeah.
I like the road under the starburst, right there. But this
Yeah.
over here is a little distracting on the far left.
yeah. If Bruce Ryman was on the call, he would tell you to take those two pieces out, I'm sure.
Who is that guy?
And Bruce, to your question earlier about, should the tree be lightened or whatever, I don't think so. I think it's, if you do too much of that, then it starts to look unnatural against, especially like the direction that the light's coming at, you're looking at, it from the back. If you start making that too bright, then it looks unnatural given the direction of the light.
And then there's on the halfway or 3/4 of the way up the tree, there's that one half branch that's sticking out. It's just like would you clone that out, or I just looked at would you? Okay.
I don't think it doesn't matter.
I think it's
Okay.
okay, but
Is that distracting? Okay.
The only thing I would
Alright.
clone out is that flying saucer up in the upper left,
Flying saucer.
quarter of the way down.
Oh, I see it. I wonder if it's a dust spot or if it's a plane, or might be a dust spot. I see
The
the dust
saucer.
bunny.
What about, I
Go
see a
ahead.
flare right
Yeah,
there. in
there.
the
Yeah, right
tree.
there in the tree. Yeah,
There's a
I
flare.
just saw that. Good catch. I'll have to try and fix that too.
Beautiful, beautiful picture. Beautiful morning.
Yeah.
yeah, it was nice.
Thank
It was nice we had the clouds and the thing, but the clouds were just such that it let that sun peek through the the deal. You caught that one well.
Well, thanks. I'll go back and do my homework. Well, this is what we saw on Saturday down in the Springs. There was a lot of people and stuff. So I took this picture, the two contrast,
Mhm.
but again, looking for input. Is it too bright on one? Do I need less sky?
Much sky.
Less sky? And would you tone down that balloon in front a little bit or?
Maybe a little bit, and then there's the gap with a little bit of sky on the lower right, like that
Mhm.
slides behind that other one. Maybe darken that a little bit, just because it becomes kind of a light spot on a corner, so it kind of pulls your eye a little bit out of that.
And the blues don't match.
I think I
If you-
did. Go ahead.
If you could have moved a little to the left and then gotten still that yellow balloon behind, but cut off that little thing on the bottom, that little triangle on the bottom right. I don't know if you
Uh-huh.
could have done that or not, but
I may have to look because I may have a different angle
Different
because I was
angle.
moving around.
Because
but I
that
can't
is a little
remember.
distracting down there.
Yeah, because otherwise you would
Okay.
have just balloons and then just, the sky. And if that part of it was not overlapping that piece, but I know how that is when you're in those scenes. It's hard to think about what that's going to look like on there. But that's what I was just going to say, is if there's a little bit of something, at least darken it to start with, and then go from there. But if you do have one, as Bruce suggested, like if you're just a few feet to the left, and it's now that lower balloon is going to then block a little bit of that back balloon from that angle. But if it could just take out that little gap that's on that lower right.
Yeah, no, I see. Because there is dark blue sky, and then you have this kind of white spot at the bottom. Another one trying to catch the flame in the balloon.
Hmm.
Maybe I don't know if the slow shutter speed added to it, and I guess I should have taken that line out that's kind of going through the front of it. I just saw that.
I would color that bottom left corner there,
Okay,
make it all
make
black.
it black. Make
Yeah.
it black. And it looks like I should take that balloon number out at the top too, probably, right? Those letters and numbers
Pretty
towards the
cool.
left. Yeah.
yeah.
Let's just say it was pretty cold when they were firing those things up. It was kind of nice because I was a little cool that morning.
Yeah.
Oh, I bet.
Looks good though. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I guess all of mine are grouped together. This is a double exposure I did in Morocco. This is the bottom of a fountain, and then kind of this actually was the fountain that's in front of it at the bottom, and then put it together. I don't know if it works or if I don't know. Maybe it's just kind of interesting, but not that interesting. Just looking for some feedback.
I find it artsy. I like it.
Ooh. So do I need to get a man bun and some Birkenstocks?
No, I like the creativity of it. And I struggle a lot of times with trying to do like a double expose. Whenever I've tried it, it's like I don't know how to like match up two different things that are going to look okay together. But this one I think came out nice. I like that.
Yeah, I like the idea. I think I
Yeah.
put something ancient in the back, like an old building or something.
Okay. Okay.
I was just gonna say, you might try adding a little more contrast. I think it's pretty cool. But maybe a little more contrast. I don't know.
Yeah. The beauty of this is the Nikon in camera double exposure.
Yep.
But it also saves the two raw images. It
Right,
combines
right.
them for you, but then it saves the two raw images. So
That's
I'll go back and revisit them and
Oh, really?
tweak them.
Cool.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
might
And it's
wanna,
what's cool.
Tone
Go
down
ahead.
that white building back there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's fun about the Nikon double, when you do the double exposure in camera, you take the first, you tell them how many images you want, but when you take the first image, then in the viewfinder, you see that first image as an overlay
That's right.
as you're looking around. So it gives you, it's kind of cheating because you get placement exactly how you want it.
That's
Wow.
great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is pretty slick. I should do it more often.
I'll
I
have to
haven't
try
tried
something.
it. I'll have
We-
to
we
try
It's
it.
really easy to do.
Is it?
Really
Oh.
easy. You just have to remember to do it. That's really what
Yeah.
the hard part. Just remember to do it.
You should have double exposure as one of the themes one time.
That's a great idea.
Good
It
idea.
is.
And folks, that's the last one.
Very
You
nice.
you ended on a low note. Hey, well, I've got everybody on, and those of you that are muted, feel free to chat or talk. As we talk about themes, one question we were going to ask is, would you rather have like the either or type where you have two themes, or would you rather see just when we do a theme night, just one theme? It's double exposure, it's whatever it is, and then have multiples. I'm just curious what everybody thinks of that.
One theme,
One theme?
one theme.
I think that works as long as it's a theme that like enough people can participate in. I think that's where we've kind of run into that before, and that is that if you do, like let's say I'm trying to think of what would be like a thing. Yeah, I want to say macro, but you can do macro without a macro lens, right? Because there's all of a sudden if you do macro, then those with macro lenses have a advantage over those without?
It
It's
would
something
be-
that doesn't require
It would be
specific.
this coming up event coming up where people don't have stuff to do light painting with.
All you need is a flashlight.
Yeah, but some people
Sure.
may not know how to do some of that.
Well, that's the whole point of the themes was originally to get kind of people to try something different. And that's why
Right.
we try to have presenters and, and give her, and this year we've tried to do where you have like 2 months or close to 2 months before that competition is due. So you have time to think about it and, research it and do some shots. But yeah, I get it. And we just have to think through the themes. And again, to those of you that are online, don't be shy. If you have theme ideas, email us, call us, whatever, let us know, because if you leave us to our own devices, we come up with stuff and you may not like it, but it's a democracy here at the club. Feel free to give us your input. We definitely want people to tell us things they want to do. The other piece of it is, I'm trying to think what else. So we've got for next year, if those of you that are on the call, or if you know someone, or if you've seen a presentation or some program that you think would be of interest to the club, let me know, because I'm starting to look at next year's programs and filling them up. And it's always helpful when people can give me some things to put in there. It's and things that you want to see, what things that you're interested in seeing, because I try to do what I do, but obviously everybody's had different experiences and seen different things that I may not be aware of. Trying to think of anything else. Any other? Oh yeah, and again, I think those of you on the call know this, but again, reminder: all of September, all of October at this point in time will be Zoom only because the space is being renovated at the city's civic center.
Just for us.
Just for yeah, right. I don't think so. We'll probably get in there and they'll have left all the trash in our room or something.
Thing about
So-
having only one theme at a time
Yes.
is I wonder if you need to have more competition nights then. And I don't know if you can fit that in the calendar. Because at least when
Well-
you had two things, you gave people the opportunity to at least put in some for one of the categories. So that's just another way to look at it.
Well, and that's a good question, because obviously we try to balance exhibition nights with competition nights. And like you said,
Yeah.
we only have so many slots. So,
Yeah.
the question would be, would people like to see, say, one less exhibition night and one more competition night? I mean, that's, again, feedback that we'd like to know, because it's your club. What are the things that you'd like to see? What helps you? What are the things that, make the club worth your $30 a year? So,
Well, and I really value the exhibition nights. In fact, I value probably that more than the competition.
okay.
But
Right.
and just to clarify, I mean, while you're on the subject, because originally you're talking about the next competition is only going to be the painting, lighting. It's not just light.
No, it's light painting. And if you look at the website,
I mean, you were always saying macro and light, and now tonight you're talking specifically about the light painting.
No, it's
Right.
it's categories. You can do macro, like a macro image, such as like the one that you had of the flower and so
Right.
forth. That works, even though it wasn't light painting and so forth. So there's images that are, done as macro images, and there's light painting images that are images where you've used artificial light and however
Okay,
that.
and that's my point. Before it was a general open, because I can think of a lot of photos I have that would demonstrate light, but you're talking specifically about the light painting as.
If you go to the website, Kathy, on the front page, there'll be a thing that talks about the October competition, and we have a definition of what light painting is,
Okay,
and what macro would be, because we had that confusion with the
yeah,
environmental portraits and that. So when we do a theme, we're going to start spelling out exactly what we define as that theme. So people can go, okay.
but my point is you're making it much more specific.
Light painting is a specific, it's like macro photography or like sepia, or it's a very specific type of
But light painting, you're using some other instrument other than just a still flash or something like
than
that
the
to
existing
create
light.
light. Right.
I mean, it's
And
very
then
specific. Yeah.
right, and did you watch? You were there for? Were you there for Russell's presentation?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That's what it is. I mean, you start and you're providing the detail through either it can be as simple as a bowl of fruit. And you're like,
I think if you're going to introduce something new like the light painting, then I think you ought to stick with just one category, maybe.
well, yeah, the reason we did that was if you say, it looks too complicated to me, I don't want to do it, but I can do macro. It kind of gave you the option. You don't have to do light painting. You don't have to do macro. You have to do the other two enter images. I mean, you can enter whatever you want, but again, if it's not, then in theory the judge would discount it, and it wouldn't, you wouldn't score well. And that's the whole point. And then the whole point of themes was to try something different, learn something new.
Right.
Break out of your thing. And again, nobody's going to hold you. Nobody's going to think more or less of you if you decide I'm not entering an image because I don't like that. That's fine.
Yeah.
But it's primarily to be like, hey, go try it. What the heck? It's fun. You can do light painting in your basement and bring out some cool stuff. And we did some light painting in our basement the other day, and it was fun. Anyway, but I see what you're saying. And again, as from this point forward, as we do themes, we are now going to define what the theme is and what it entails, so people know what they need to do and then there's also, if you look in there, there's some links in there so you can go look at different ideas and how, definitions and different things like that. So trying to expand your horizons.
Right. Good. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? I think with that, we'll give everybody back 20 minutes on a Wednesday night.
Yeah. Thanks, Bruce, for doing that. And thanks, Carino, for pulling all images together and that. And thank everybody for joining, and for those that submitted images. That was fun.
All right, everybody, have a good night, good weekend.
Beautiful images. Beautiful images.
Yes.
That was good.
Good night.
Thanks, everybody. Good night.